This wall used to have a really cool like graffiti mural on it.
That was
that Doc.
Yeah.
I heard he passed though.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, Doc. I think my Vision might have helped out on that too. Vision was fucking dope, man. That guy's a fucking Venice legend, bro. Like he's fucking dope. Yeah, shout out to Vision, West Coast artist. He was. I had posted a couple years ago. I posted on my Instagram a bunch of Geso pictures. Geso is my cousin. His father is my godfather, and he was Ozer's half brother.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't get enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's credit, like people that know of him, know of him, like that fucking guy. He's a fucking legend, monster right out there in the scene.
Give us a quick rundown of who Geso was, from your explanation for people who might not know.
Graffiti-wise, we'll talk a little bit about him. So for us, when I started writing graffiti with all of us, and he was doing his thing, right? He was already well known, hitting the streets, bombing everywhere. Venice to freaking downtown, Venice Boulevard was bombed. Every pole practically, right? Geso bombs, all this. So for us, we didn't look at him as that. We looked at him as Joey. That's who he was to us. He was the awkward kid that would come over and didn't know how to play football. Yeah. And so when we found out who he was, it was oh shit, that's him. That's dope. And so he would come over and he'd bring Ozer fucking ultra wides and that. Back then you're oh shit, these are fucking tough, fucking 88, 89.
Okay, yeah.
And so Ozer has some pictures, a lot of old pictures. Hopefully he finds the ones that Geso actually wrote on. Yeah. He was such a troublemaker, man.
Yeah.
It's funny, one time we're walking through an alley and he gets up, Geso, BC, and I'm he's not from BC. He's just fucking antagonizing him, right? Being who he was. And
I remember on Venice Beach he would do buff out some of the artist murals and put his name on there.
Yeah, he was just a terror, and so but he would stop by every so often and visit. He'd always bring Ozer some cool graffiti shit, and for him again fortunately he passed away early on, and so what he'd be today, who knows,
because he was badass. I mean, he was up, and
he was at the top of his game back then.
He was a terror, but he had style.
Yeah, he brought some dope hand styles, man. His hand styles were sick.
Yeah.
And so he would always try and show us different shit, how to write and things like that.
That's dope, dude. Because I feel because me I think a lot of my style I get a lot of from some of my biggest teachers were Game, Fo from BC.
Yeah.
Nez a little bit too. He used to be dropped from DCK. But I would say more Fo and Game were probably my biggest graffiti teachers. Yeah.
I met him once when we were younger.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he doesn't remember, but I might have mentioned it even on the Instagram. But we started talking a lot there, and he's a cool dude, real cool dude.
Yeah.
Real humble guy.
I want to get him in Finn.
Finn was fresh, dude.
Yeah.
Finn was a dope writer, man.
Yeah.
All those Westsiders, and so again, when you talk about my history, it's I got to see the best of the Valley. And then obviously those guys became friends of mine, and for me, UTI came down the road. When SDP kind of went a different route for a little while, then UTI came in the picture, and then I've been from UTI for a long time. I don't even remember what year. It was sometime in the '90s. Skill let me impale in, and that was a long time ago, right? That's. But out here you had some really dope ass crews. You had West Coast artists, you had KSN, you had BC, KSN. The TB guys had hand styles. Those dudes could write, man. Yeah. Those dudes could write. There was a lot of good crews out here in the West Side, and so I got to go see that. I got to see a lot of the graffiti, what it looked like on the West Side, what it looked like on the Valley. Yeah. Kind of get inspired.
West Side wise, what would you say were some the main graffiti hubs, say the Venice
well, you had the Venice walls, you had Motor Yard, right? And then you had the West Coast tracks. Those were the main places. It's right off the freeway, right off of Pico, right off the 405, right just on this side of the 405, where that I don't know what the hell it is, but there was a whole bunch of walls. that got painted, and then I remember they were going to tear them down and supposedly rebuild them. Like that was just the story to get these kids out the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But I got to meet some cool writers out of there. When you go over there, you go to Motor, you'd see some cool shit in there. So yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. Then you had this yard for us.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We had our own shit. Like we didn't have to go really